I've completely changed the way I hear songs and watch movies. Jung's language of symbols pulls meaning out of anything. I approach my studies on Jungian symbolism not as an expert, but as someone who is trying to make sense of the world we're dropped into. Beginning with solution. In alchemy, this is the stage where the ego dissolves in water. For Jung, water is a primal symbol of the unconscious, whether positive or negative. To undergo solution is to let the ego soften and fall into the unknown currents of the psyche. Pink Floyd shows this in The Wall. Pink lies in a pool, his ego dissolves, but it doesn't free him, it collapses him without renewal. Fleetwood Mac shows solution another way. In their song Dreams, there's a line that says, "When the rain washes you clean, you'll know." Here, the unconscious manifests itself as rain. Rain is both storm and gentleness. Dissolution here means insight and wisdom. And in Deftones' Cherry Waves, the water is a sea in constant motion. The singer is tempted into it, but instead of knowledge, he drowns. The unconscious consumes him completely. Solution can mean collapse, cleansing, or death. That's the power of symbols. They carry contradictions. After dissolution, the next stage is mortificatio. It's not just destruction, it's humiliation, being broken down to your most basic form. In The Wall, this concept is illustrated after the pool scene. Pink dissolves, then enters a death phase, where his identity decays. He is literally shown rotting and reduced to nothing before being rebuilt as the dictator persona. Deftones' Change in the House of Flies opens with mortificatio. I watch the change in you, it's like you never had wings. The ego decays, diminishing to the level of pest. Flies are symbols of death and flesh breaking down. Then it escalates. I took you home, I set you on the glass, I pulled off your wings and then I laughed. Mortificatio often carries this theme of humiliation, the stripping of dignity. This is how the psyche portrays transformation. It comes from death, decay, and humiliation. Calcinatio is a term I've crossed. Psychologically, this process involves burning away pride. The fly in Deftones and Change is on fire. A fly in flames could represent the psyche's most fragile or corrupted parts undergoing purification. The Wall is pure calcinatio. The collective erupts into flames non-stop. Symbols of corruption and authoritarianism are thrown into the fires. Individually, fire can purify. The collective here is burning without rebirth. I have looked at the anima a lot. It's eros in the imagination. The anima has various quality and guises. Projection of the anima means your imagination gives inner qualities to another person. You see them through the lens of your unconscious anima. The anima is bigger than any single image. It's a whole field of meaning. In Digital Bath, when he says, "You move like I want to," it's like the imagined anima and her action overlap. His inner image and the outside world mirror each other. This shows a mirror image of your imagined anima. However, this represents the anima in a very passive form. In another song, Cherry Waves, the anima becomes a siren. She tempts the singer and leads him toward drowning in water, then laughing. The siren's cruel laughter is considered an anima trait also. Then, in Nirvana's heart-shaped box, the anima is no longer subtle or tempting. She's imprisoning the image of being trapped forever in a heart-shaped box. Instead of inspiration or desire, she becomes a prison of the psyche. In these three examples, the anima transitions from representing passive desire to embodying seductive temptation, and finally becoming an imprisoning force. This shows the anima as a whole spectrum of the unconscious. The animus is logos, the principle of structure and word. The Wall embodies animus. The state itself exhibits its traits. The teachers, the soldiers, and even Pink's own manager all show the same force. Pink Floyd's song, Another Brick in the Wall, the children are confronting an animus projection with an animus projection. It's authority versus conviction. 9 Inch Nails, Head Like a Hole. Here, the animus projection is someone who embodies absolute control. The singer's revolt is also animus. Compared to Digital Bath, where the anima is projected as movement, desire, and mood, the animus is presented as an authority that commands and restricts. After analyzing these concepts of anima and animus and Deftones in The Wall, I shifted my focus to Nirvana's album, In Utero. To be in utero is to dissolve the ego back into the maternal unconscious. The outcome leads to a loss of individuality. This album is filled with Jungian themes: death, decay, rebirth, imprisonment. The symbolism is powerful. The heart-shaped box is the anima in its shadow aspect, where desire transforms into captivity. The anima suffocates the psyche locked inside. I've learned the distinction between symbol and archetype. It helped me see how symbols matter. Symbols are the method archetypes use to speak to us. You naturally receive that symbol through dreams and active imagination. Symbols project everywhere unnaturally, in music and in movies. The unconscious absorbs it all. Projection is the bridge between the two. The lyric, "I looked at the cross, then I looked away," hits much harder now that I've learned this. The cross is a projected symbol of the self, the archetype of wholeness and transformation. To look away is to never transform and quit. I had an awareness of this before, but I couldn't articulate the reasons behind it. The strange thing about archetypes is that they feel obvious, like everyone already knows them, but they live unconsciously. So most people don't see them until they're named. When you start looking at songs and films as symbols, you realize you're not inventing meanings. You're recognizing what the psyche has always known. I noticed archetypes and its symbols all around me. When I explored the various symbols representing the self archetype, I found that still water is one of them. It serves as a reflective surface that mirrors the psyche and reveals the totality of the self, with depths beneath it, representing unconscious content that is hidden. Pink lying in a pool can be read as an encounter with the self, but it's distorted. The self is present, but contaminated with trauma. He's passive. He's not consciously engaging with the self, he's collapsing into it. The individual fish serves as a symbol also, and is referenced in Nirvana's song, "Something in the Way," which includes the line, "It's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings." This turns a dark line even darker. In Jungian terms, that could mean it's okay to consume the self because it doesn't feel. It's self-devouring. The sun is also a symbol for the self. Gordon Lightfoot has a song called "Sundown." The sun here is a symbol of transition, not the wholeness of noon, but twilight. It dramatizes how the self fades into unconsciousness. The repeated warnings and the imagery of dusk all hint at the self under threat of shadow possession. It pairs perfectly with the other self-images like the sea or the heart because it shows the moment of danger when the self recedes.